Hi there, welcome to another video by Albertina Bay Technologies. Today we're going to have a look at our stock take module. Now it's common knowledge that stock takes are certainly not a fun process. They're not exciting in any means, but they are most certainly necessary. So one of the things we've tried to incorporate, one of the aspects we've tried to incorporate within our module is to make sure that it's as pain-free, as streamlined, as easy as possible, as well as being 100% accurate. So what we've allowed for is we've allowed for two input methods really, a manual input and a scanner input. They work in essence in the same way. One is just using sort of the input device of a scanner, the other is manually inputting the information through sort of a keyboard for argument's sake. Now the scanner input is where what we'll have a look at today, in essence, because the manual input is identical to the scanner, just without the ability obviously to scan. The different scanners that we allow, we cater for, should I say, are our wireless scanners that we make use of, which connect in a live environment to the database, which allow for multiple scanners, 5 scanners for argument's sake, to be out in the store or in the warehouse scanning stock simultaneously and updating the database. We find this a much more effective method than the commonly used batch scanners, because if your battery dies for argument's sake on a batch scanner, you lose all your information. But also with a live connection, you can actually confirm every scan as it's read to make sure it's written to the database, to make sure that it's read correctly, because we know, especially in the footwear industry, you often have multiple barcodes on a particular shoebox, and if you scan the wrong one, you can see immediately that it was an incorrect barcode that was scanned, whereas with the batch scanner, that's all found out at the end once everything is uploaded. I have a little emulator to show you sort of just what our scanners look like. They're very small, they're compact, very easy to use. The big yellow button is for scanning, and then we use the number pad for various different functions to do with lot management or bin management, which I'll get to in a little bit. So you can see there's little menus and that type of thing that you can go through and use to configure it. So that's just to give you an idea of what the scanner looks like, obviously because I'm going to be using the scanner and you're not necessarily going to be able to see that. So if we kick off the stock take, what we do is we go through new and we select the particular stock room that we want to take stock of. Obviously within our system we can take stock of multiple different stock rooms. We have multiple different stock rooms. Ease of use really is the reason. You have an in-store stock room, a lay-by stock room, a remote stock room or an off-site stock room, and then an RTM evaluation, which is a return to manufacturer. So damaged garments can be parked in there before they're sent back to your supplier or before they're sent back to the warehouse for a credit. We're going to have a look. I'm just going to have a look at the remote stockroom and perform a stock take on here, just because I've set up some nice test data for us to have a look at. So it'll be a lot quicker than a full stock take, but enough to get the gist of it. If we have a look at some of the other filters, you have your date here. That can be backset if you like to incorporate your financial period. If you're actually doing the stock take in the new financial year, say 1st or 10th of March, but you want to include it for the end of Feb, you can actually go through and update that value there. The number of lots we use is similar to, it's a synonymous term for bins, which most other people use, and the key for that is to help segment the stock within the stock room or within the shop or within the warehouse, to be able to sort of break it down into manageable chunks, and also to be able to control the exact number of scans to the number of particular items in there to ensure everything was scanned. In my little example, I'm just going to create 3 lots here. We have a filter products button. Now what that allows you to do is include certain products into your stock take if you just want to do a partial stock take. If I were to click on initialize, that would go through and take a snapshot of all my stock in the stock room, and it would assume I'm doing a full stock take. However, if I click on filter products, I've got the ability to select particular items and add them into my selected products list. Similarly, I could filter on brand, could select Converse, add all my Converse for argument's sake. So I could do that if I like as well. This little C button goes through and clears all the filters here. What I'm going to do is I'm not going to include specific filters. I just wanted to show you how those work. And the other great things is we've got top performers. So what you could do is you could take stock of your top 20 sellers. for argument's sake, because they are, they're trend items, they're fashionable items, they're moving well, you've got lots of stock of them, so chances are you might have problems with those particular stock items in terms of shortages. So you can also do that, and it'll show you your top 20 best sellers, your top 10 best sellers, that type of thing. So there's a range of filters that you can use. If I just cancel that, and it tells me that all the products in the stockroom are set for stock taking, perfect, which is exactly what I want, and then I can click on initialize. Now once I've clicked on initialize, what that does is take a screenshot of my stock values, and that's going to be used to compare against my actual scanned values to give me my variance, and inevitably update my stock accordingly. Now what we have is these control counts. As I mentioned earlier, a control count is a value that gets input into the different lots, which is based on a physical count of the stock in that particular row, shelf, aisle, whatever it may be. So when the staff member or the user is actually scanning the stock, that will count up, or the actual count value will count up, and once it's at the control count value, they know that's where they should be. If there's a discrepancy, it means they've either missed something or it didn't scan, which they thought it did for argument's sake, and they can go through and check. So it's just really allowing things to be 100% sure. If I save that, and now I move across to my scanner configurations tab, as you can see there's many scanners that can be added simultaneously. This particular scanner here is the port number that I'm going to be using. So what I'll do is I'll add in my scanner reference or my name, and what that really means is that particular person is using that scanner, so any item that's scanned by that scanner will have that person's reference or that user reference to it, which makes life very easy in the event that there's shortages on a particular item. You can go through and filter on that particular person's name, see who counted it, and go take the issue up with that particular user or that particular operator. So now that I've got my scanner added, what I'm going to do, obviously unfortunately you can't see, I'm going to pick up my scanner, you might be able to hear it beeping, and I'm going to connect through to my Stock Take module. So what my scanner is asking me to do now is enter the particular lot reference that I want to begin scanning with. I would select lot number 1 and off I go, and it says to me begin scanning. So what I'm going to do now is just scan a few of these items. I've just printed out some demonstration barcodes. So you'll need to just bear with me while I scan just this first lot here. So what I've done is I've really created 3 different lots, each with varying amounts of information. And as you can see, if you click on the refresh grid button, what it now pulls up is the lot reference was lot number 1. These were the product codes that were scanned, and those were the counts. And then at the bottom we have our size curve, what was scanned in terms of sizes. So now that I've scanned that particular lot, I've completed it, we're 19 from 19. On my actual scanner, I can say I want to complete the lot, and what that will do is if I just jump back and forth, it will say that lot is actually now complete. So the beauty of that is you can have 200 lots in your particular warehouse or store or stockroom, and the multiple people going through and scanning can complete the lots as they're done, as they're happy these counts balance. You can also force it so that they have to balance to be able to be completed as well. That's done through this preset lot control count checkbox. And the beauty of that is once you come back, all the lots that are complete that you don't have any problems with, and those that aren't generally mean your short counts, the barcodes were damaged, so they couldn't be scanned, it was coming up as an unrecognized code, that type of thing. So I'm just quickly going to now hop on to the other 2 lots that I've got printed out here and just go through and scan those. I don't have too many. I've got, as you can see, about 20 in each particular lot, so it shouldn't take me too much longer to complete. And then, as I said, as I'm scanning every particular barcode, the actual item code that is displayed here appears on my particular scanner to say that's the code that you scanned and the particular size, with an incremental counter to say you've scanned 1 size 5, 2 size 5, 3 size 5s, which also helps sort of pinpoint exactly where you are in case your concentration is broken, in case you're distracted, you know where you are, so you can sort of pick it up from there. If I hop onto the 3rd lot quickly, which is the 3rd and final one, and nearly finished. 3, 2, 1. Final scan done. And now I'm going to complete this lot as well. So if I jump across to my lot management tab, you can see that there was 3 lots. All the control counts were incorrectly put, or sorry, correctly input, and the actual counts all scanned to agree. If I jump back to my stock take capture and just refresh it here, you can see lot number 1, lot number 2, lot number 3 with the corresponding codes. And what these filters here allow you to do, I could select lot number 1 and it can display only lot number 1. Alternatively, I could select the done by, which I put in as Travis. If there was Sean or Jane scanning the different lots, you could then filter by those particular lots as well. And you've also got these very useful header filters which allow you to sort ascending or descending by product code, so I can see exactly which is which and what was done. So now that's refreshed, all my data is in there now. What I would want to do is I would want to move on to the verification stage. This is the little stock take I've set up here, and in my little example, that's everything in that particular stock room. So I just need to drop my scanner, and now that they're all complete, I can click on verify. And it asks me if I want to move it into the verification phase, which I say yes to. What we have is the reports that we need to now take a look at. So we've got a variance and an exception report. We've programmatically set that these reports have to be run before you can update the stock take. And that's purely just for security reasons, so people don't do it accidentally and go zero out all their stock. So they have to physically come in here, run the variance and the exception report, just so as confirmation that it's being done correctly and the correct steps are being followed. What I can say is show cost variance. I've got some different options. Do I want it at product level? If I just run that for you now, that will show me at item level. So in essence, it won't show me my various different sizes. It'll show me a total count. I can say totals only, which just breaks it down to say the total number of items scanned, or I could say with count detail, which breaks it down by sizes. So there you can see exactly where your sizes are. And now this might be useful if you have an under-over scenario. So for a particular item, the system said you had 8, you have 8, except you've got 8 size 6s as opposed to 8 size 7s, for argument's sake, and that can be picked up there. It also allows you to do things like sort by variance. So I can sort by variance ascending, which has got negative being a shortage, positive being a surplus. So that's my biggest variances there, and that's my cost value. Well, I say cost at point of sale, it's the RRSP, not the actual cost of value. Or if alternatively, I could sort it descending, which would show me where my surpluses are. So in this example, my actual count was 24. System said I should have 23, which is a unit of 1, and the cost of 229 Rand. So I'm 229 Rand short for this particular stock take. Okay, so we close that, and I move on to my exception report. And I run my exception report. Now, exception report details a range of things which are all up here. Things like unrecognized codes, if there were any transactions processed, any excluded items, any additional lots or withdrawn lots, as well as any items that were zero counted. And I don't think we have anything in here for that. No. But the zero count is also very good to have a look at, because really it means you haven't counted this particular item, so it's going to be zeroed out. If, however, now I wanted to go and actually change a particular value, I wouldn't go rescan those particular items. What I would do is I'd go manually input. So if I wanted to manually fix something that I saw in my variance report, I click on verification, because that's sitting under my verification phase, and I can open it up here. Now what it would allow you to do is I can click on edit. It's saying it's activated the stock take again for me. I need to select the particular lot that I was working with and uncompleted, so I can actually work with that lot. So now I can come in here, select lot number 1, done by was Travis, and now what I have is the ability to go through and change these values. So if my 4.5s were actually 2, my 5s were actually 0, I could make that change, and if I needed to add one more 3.5 there and one more 5, increase it to 2 because those were broken. Let's say the barcodes were damaged, which makes my actual count 21. I can now go and change my control count values, edit, make that 21, complete the lot, and then save. Now I need to re-verify it. which is saying it's moving it back to the verification phase, which is what I want, and then rerun my variance report, because now obviously that I've made changes, my values are going to be slightly different. So if I run it now, you can see it was 24, now it's 26 and 23, being over by 3 and a cost variance over a 484. So let's say hypothetically that's exactly what my stock should be. I've double checked it and triple checked it. I run my exception report just to make sure, and then I can simply come through and say update. Now it gives you a warning to say the stock will be updated, all the quantities will be processed. It says it cannot be reversed. However, if you make a backup within your particular, within the POS application, the retail software for fashion retail application, before you update this, we can obviously in emergency scenarios restore the database, but general practice obviously is something that wouldn't be done. So if you wish to continue, you can say yes, you get the progress bars sort of zipping across the screen, and it says my stock has now been adjusted. So now my stock in those actual particular stock rooms is sitting at those particular values. So if I just close this and hop across to my point of sale, my fashion retail application, what I can do here is have a quick look at my audit report. Just to give you an idea, stock levels and pricing, select my stock room, my remote stock room, anything from 0 to 100, and preview the report. And now that shows me those particular items that were in my stock take. Super. Well, that was the stock take, basic little stock take module. You can, just to let you know, process adjustments, stock adjustments through the actual point of sale application, but those are more sort of from corrective purposes as opposed to going through a full stock take. But yeah, if you're doing a full stock take, that will be done through the actual stock take module. Thanks for watching. Hope you have a look at some of our other videos. If you can just search Albertina Bay or Software for Fashion within YouTube, you'll pick them up, as well as the various different links to this video. Thanks for watching. See you again. Ciao for now.